Squeeze me.
And you're on. And apparently I wasn't muted, so everybody got to hear that. Everybody
Cool.
consisting of nobody's here.
Everybody, nobody's here?
Yeah.
Well, as nobody's here, I won't say.
Your face cam needs to move. Oh. Unless that's where you're going to be.
This is where I'm going to be.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, since nobody's here, I won't bother saying hello stream.
I mean, you can say hello to YouTube.
I could say hello to YouTube. Does YouTube deserve it, though? Future YouTube? Yeah, all right. Hello, future YouTube. Eventual YouTube.
Yes.
Been a day. Placing kiln elements. And realizing how much my kiln elements needed replacing.
Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, it's still bad. Nope, I have not replaced the other two. We're gonna try it and see. I'm less feel less good about my theory.
Which theory?
Well, that if I replace the kiln elements half at a time, it'll have less of a drastic effect on the firing cycle. Because our kiln is very meager controls, let's say.
It's a manual.
I mean, it's a real manual kiln. It's got 4 elements and 4 just plain switches. There's not even like dial controls to turn the switch to turn the elements up or down. So it just kind of heats at the rate that it heats, depending on how many elements you've got on. And it works. My wife's pottery works really well with it slightly firing slightly slower than it does with fresh elements. So we'll try replacing half of them at a time, and that should speed it up a little, but not too much, is my theory. And if it doesn't work, I'll just replace the other 2. Not that hard to open up. I did have to do a very small experiment today, though. I took some of the pigtails off the elements, and I made new rake wire things. It kind of works. Haven't put them in a handle yet. I'll try them later, though. Okay, I'm not sold on this
head
scarf thing. We're gonna go with hair.
We're gonna go with hair for now.
I'm gonna go with hair for now. Pretty much gonna go with hair. I think I'm gonna go with hair. So, that's the kind of hag she is. She likes, doesn't like hats. She's not a hat hag. want to get a. Do you want me to send you a picture of this thing and you can make a quick post for story post for like Instagram, Blue Sky, and whatever? Or do you not care? Me? We're not doing that today. We're not doing that. Screw that noise. We've been on the same schedule long enough. It's all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her. Just for amusement value, just give her a bunch of different hairstyles.
Sure.
Just keep trying hairstyles. How do you think my my hag would look with a bump it? You remember bump its?
I do remember.
You ever try a bump it?
No.
You never tried a bump it?
No. There's no point.
You don't feel like you need a little more volume?
No. Because you can see it. Like, you can see it.
You can see a bump it?
Yeah.
Like right through all that?
Yeah.
Quality over quantity?
Yeah.
Bet you were annoyed by the bump its back in the day. Because you couldn't has. Did your parents, or mother at least, also have a weird, like, obsession with the perms? Is that a thing?
I wouldn't say an obsession. I mean, as a child, I did have a perm.
Like you were
I was permed, yes.
You were permed. There was the insistence that you were permed.
But the problem is with my fine hair, it turned into like a poodle fro and was completely ridiculous.
I mean,
It was bad.
I would imagine.
I think that's why it only happened the one time, because it was that bad.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about the perm.
What?
I don't know what it was about the perm.
Because it gave your hair body without having to like do it yourself every day.
Is that what the perm was all about?
And for a while, like flat hair, just if that's not what the style was. The style was big poofy hair.
Big poofy hair.
Like you've seen 80s horror movies.
Well, no, I have seen 80s horror movies. There's lots of big hair in them, but
yeah.
But like, it was weird that even my mom, like, she didn't. She may have had a perm at one point. I mean, I never had one because I don't think they did that to boys very often. But I think my sister had one. Right?
Probably.
In a weird kind of way. My mother's never been concerned with the fashion things. That's why it struck me as odd that she would have an opinion on a hair thing.
Who, your mom?
Yeah.
I can. That is weird. Your mom's not really the type.
No.
Oh, okay, what am I doing?
Nope, I remember perms, and in the event that she ever felt the need to wear makeup, blue eyeshadow.
Okay, well, I think for a while there, again, 80s, blue
Uh-huh.
eyeshadow was just, that's just the thing
That's just the color eyeshadow was?
That's the only color eyeshadow came in.
Nope, my mother had one makeup kit that I ever remember for the whole of my childhood. Yes. Okay. Go look
Is
at
it,
the
like,
freezer
all
top.
of the
Go look at
dimensions?
the freezer top. Place that over the thing, and then you can tell me if it's all the dimensions. Like that's pretty much exactly the right size, isn't it? No, it does not. I love that you're completely unwilling to accept that I did all this checking already. Will this bag fit? Will that bag fit? No. No, they won't. Nor any of the ones in the other room. It is that you're unwilling. You looking for a tape measure? Okay. I could tell her where one is, but that's not. Apparently, that's not how this is working today. She's got to learn for herself.
Twenty by 11 by.
Yes. Yes, it is. I think we could probably just find a bag and just literally let it live in there.
Hmm?
What doesn't make sense?
Oh, this bag dimensions.
So, in case anybody was wondering what's going on, we're attempting to find an alternative to a Walmart semi-disposable shopping bag for our new packing material when we go to Comic-Cons and that sort of thing. And we don't want to have...
So, I don't know if you can see it. But it's claiming that the height is 20 and the longest dimension that way is 14. There's no way that that's taller than Bizzle.
Oh.
Right? It's gotta be. So, assuming that they put in the dimensions wrong, this bag will be big enough.
Okay, if you say so.
I mean,
Canadian Tire bag may fit the bill. I suppose that would be more acceptable.
or it's fine.
I mean, yes. My suspicion is we should...
Or it's pictures lined in it? I don't know.
Well, that one that you're clicking on right
This
there
one?
looks like that might be the same pattern.
No, it's smaller.
Oh.
This one's 23 liters and this one's 57.
So, that Walmart bag did have 2 sets of handles, by the by.
Okay.
Not that that really is important to our thing, but assuming that they're not, getting their own bespoke bags made.
I'm sure there's like standard sizes.
Hmm?
I said I'm sure there's like standard.
I'm sure there are many standard bag sizes.
Do.
If we could find something a little bit sturdier too, that would be great. Because I don't think that bag is going to last forever dragging on that thing. Hmm.
Why not? I don't know what your price is anyway.
Yes, and in case you're watching this at some point in the far, far future, YouTube, the reason why we're looking for an alternative to a Walmart bag is because the United States is currently in a trade war with everyone. For just
Including us, because we're nasty.
no reason.
So nasty.
Yes. We are attempting to find a Canadian alternative, if possible.
See, this one claims to be 15.5 inches long, but that's not true. It's 20. I mean, this is probably just the wrong thing. Boo. Whatever. I think it's gonna just be. We'll have to.
Yeah, we are going to have to go and physically look at the objects because but we might be able to even find a bag. Like, I don't know if you want to go as far as Princess Auto or something.
An excuse to go with Princess Auto.
Look, you don't judge me.
Judge you if I wanna.
And for people unfamiliar, Princess Auto is the Canadian equivalent of Harbor Freight, more or less. Which, if you're unfamiliar with that, is an extremely discounted tools and, well, mostly tools. Tools and a little bit of materials.
And if you're unfamiliar with that,
If you're unfamiliar with tools and materials, I'm genuinely out of options. I don't know. I can't. I don't think I can make that anymore. Straightforward. Yes, Princess Auto has relatively interesting items, mostly manufactured in China.
Yeah.
For really pretty good prices typically. And also their own make brand is Power Fist, which is my favorite store brand name for any product anywhere at any time ever, I think. I can only assume they didn't do it on purpose. I don't care. Accidentally funny is typically just as good, if not better. I need some good soft clay. It's a little warm on my finger. Something vaguely bothering me about the eyebrow area, I think.
Sorry.
You know, we should think about cutting the arms off shorter on that chair for you. They don't adjust that way. You can make them go lower, but no.
Unless
That's
seat down.
That's not what I meant by shorter anyway. I meant chop the end off. I mean, I could just straight remove them if you don't use them. My wife has an office chair that seems to want to fight with the way she wants to sit at the work table.
I'm always hunched way over rather than it being like it's a laptop.
Okay.
I would like to be under it.
Oh,
Hunched
okay.
over trying to reach it. Then my back's tired.
So you want it closer to you, but
Yeah, I want to
do you want it also lower?
chair
No,
or the laptop.
the laptop. Where does your
No, this is
where do your
like,
hands
this
want
is
to
fine,
go?
as long as it's here.
Okay. So you just need a table extension for you to work happily.
I mean, if I'm not typing, probably. Well, it gives you a brain aneurysm because it's hanging off the edge of the table. And I know how much you love that.
It's not going to give me a brain aneurysm. But I could potentially find you a method for making your laptop more ergonomic.
And apologies to anybody who might be hearing crazy desktop noises. All my Adobe programs have decided to update right now. And then it's going to go bing. It's done. I don't know if there's any more. Hopefully there aren't any more.
I didn't even hear that.
No, you
Personally,
can't hear it.
Oh, I can't. Anyway, I'm going to stand this up.
Because if I make it come out the speaker, yeah, it will pick up that sound and then we'll be.
Yes.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants the echoes. So I'm just temporarily blocking this section of the egg up so that I can get a different angle view of the face. And that way I can evaluate if I need to do anything different. These eyebrows, which I definitely do. Yeah, that's one sort of downside to the way that I tend to like to sculpt. I like to establish a kind of a pose early on. That also means that I'm constantly looking at the head at odd angles and things like that. Occasionally it makes sense to just straighten the figure up a little. Yeah, you want to give me a focus check? Looks okay?
I think so.
Yeah, it hasn't moved much, just a little. Okay. Clay to firm up just a touch to look at some expression reference. An old friend from university just messaged on, I guess that would be Facebook. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Don't think you ever met Evo. I'm sure you've heard of the Evo.
I have heard of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a pretty good reference. Okay. Back to the sculpting. The old hag up on blocks. I'll work on this ear a little bit more.
What was that?
Well, we've got the old hag up on blocks. I'm gonna work on this ear a little more too.
Okay.
Mm-mm. The earlobe. What do you think, Pi? The new eyebrows.
A bit of a sneer.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I like it.
Getting some extra. I like these strong nasolabial folds. Brr.
Is this basically the same stuff as what we got?
That is the same stuff as what we got. There's a bigger chunk of it on top of my box of box making stuff.
From the same roll?
It's
Or is this from something else?
that is from the wrapper that came with the dispenser. So but it's exactly the same stuff. Like even right down to the same width and everything. It's actually very nice. Like it'll be interesting to see how quickly it goes. Actually, I'm not concerned that it's not going to pack well. It's just, how much does it take to pack any given item?
We sold this out of ship.
I mean, I wouldn't tend to stretch it quite that tight around it. Give it a little more. Because if you pull it too far, it loses a lot of its.
Yeah.
Oh, this. I mean, if you're selling it at a show, it's not really that critical. It's going to be going in a bag and. Yeah, like how much is it going to take to pack any one item?
Yeah.
No.
We were talking about getting stickers too, right?
We did discuss that. I don't know if we.
That's probably more than
I would think so. Probably a little more than what you need. I mean, I'd rather have a little more than what you need than a little less, but.
Well, it looks like you generally need just 2 layers.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty close. And that stuff just about, I would say it doubles almost in length.
That would be
Go rank a chunk off the dispenser and see how much you actually need. If you're curious. Hmm. But yeah, it's not. Certainly isn't bad. It feels like it's going to be good in terms of kind of
like a foot and a half.
sticking to itself. Yeah, 1.5 feet, couple feet.
Foot and a half, 2 feet.
Yeah. And then you got 4. Well, okay. You say 1.5 feet, 2 feet.
Okay, it's just squish it back. So like a foot and a half, 2 feet.
Maybe.
Ish. This is completely ish.
Yeah, very ish, because that's
'Cause
actually
also, this is not.
that's not typical.
At least 2. Crutchensteins or the serial vampires.
Well, that piece of paper was
Yep.
probably, you know, significant. I mean, it's not probably. It was probably about half the length that it is now coming off the roll. Cut off a foot of it and
Go
see.
grab a foot.
Mm-hmm.
Not like we'd throw it out, just save it for when you have to pack something.
Yeah. Which I have to do tonight.
Well, are you planning on using this for mailing stuff?
No, I was planning on using that piece maybe for mailing stuff. Because I was gonna get it out of the way.
Yeah. But I think generally this is saving stuff for shows.
That was kind of the plan.
Yeah.
Generally, I like my newspaper, but
We have a good supply of that now.
for now. We have a good supply, but we also have a launch in a few days. Which hopefully we'll use some of that paper. But yeah, you're not going to know until you. We're not really going to know until we get to a show and start slobbing it off and figure out how much we actually use. Yeah, it should. It's about 9.
Yep.
Just making a bit of a bind.
All that thing outside, so we can take a picture of it tomorrow, maybe. Is it safe to assume that we're never going to use that cheesy bag?
I don't know. I like those things.
Have it
And the summertime is so hot in the kitchen. It's so very hot in the kitchen. So
Okay.
very hot in the kitchen. It might be too small for our needs, though. Plus, we technically have
We do
that
have the
stupid microwave. Yeah, I think I don't want to do too much sculpting while this is all propped up. That's not. I think. monster clay. I love how non-sticky monster clay is. Doesn't pick up a lot of junk. And also, if you do get junk mixed into it, it just kind of falls to the bottom when you melt it. I usually take whenever the monster clay pot is pretty good and melted, always give it a real good stir, and then if there's any kind of amalgamated goopiness bottom, I tend to kind of just scoop that out roughly. Every few weeks, give it a little bit. Usually kind of shows up as a dark, kind of sandy stoof. I've run out of beverage. I'm gonna go get one. Good for me to get up one once in a bit. Hands off my hag. Oh. Gilman are really quite a nice size. Hold a nice can's worth of whatever you want. We have all sizes of tiki mugs. Whatever your preference is. I think our biggest one is
Crunchenstein?
Is it Crunchenstein still or Spoops? I think one of them was was very close to 30 ounces. 28, 29, something like that. I tend to measure them and list them pretty with some pretty generous allowances.
We've got 27.
27.
Liechtenstein. Oh, okay. 24. Spoops is bigger.
Yeah, I think you could probably squeeze pretty close to 30 ounces in a Spoops if you really wanted to. So we tend to list them with a little bit of extra room for, ice and garnish and whatnot. We'd rather under promise and over deliver. There's always a little bit of a little tiny bit of variation in the wall thickness and things like that. Doesn't usually make a huge difference, but it can make a tiny one. Well, I know for a fact that a bun that shape would be a big problem when it comes to mold making. So I was able to kind of whoop what?
Pull it off down as opposed to. Well, you've got like behind the bun and behind the.
This area in here, yes. Yeah, no, you would. There is theoretically a way you could mold that so that it could come straight off each side, but that would be very tight, very constricting. And it wouldn't entirely necessitate a mold line straight down the back. I actually don't think I like all that bun anyway. She's got. I think this hag might have your hair.
Okay.
It's quality over quantity. She got a little. She's just got a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need all that. Give her a little bit. Little something. And even that's too much. You guys are going to vote tomorrow. When is Canada voting finished? Was it the 28th? 27th? 27th, 28th, something like that. I'm still not allowed to vote in Canada.
Mm, 20.
28.
Yeah. Debate tonight. I guess right now. Or it might be over by now. Started at
The
7.
English language one.
Yeah, the English one.
I got the super secret security briefings that I could be gay. What? Not sure that's how that works.
I don't know, but Carney almost did a spit take. Because he was taking a drink of water when he was saying that.
I mean,
The theory is he meant to say would be gagged. But he didn't.
even still and or.
Yeah.
He would be gagged. Would he be gooped and gagged?
Gooped and gagged. Yes.
My wife is a fan of the drag entertainment. Picked up a small amount of the lingo. We're getting down into the hag's undercarriage.
Undercarriage?
Harder to do on stream. Can't just pick it up. Off for now, I think. It's nice when you have a sort of strong form in a sculpt like this eye. You can kind of frame it with the textures. Helps you organize things like wrinkles, because you're either running with the form sort of to reinforce the shape, or sometimes you want to run kind of counter to the form. Things are starting to look a little too directed, too dull. It gives you a nice anchor point for deciding how your wrinkles should go and your textures and things. Which I like. I'm not the best sculptor of random sort of patternless forms. Some people are very good at putting in like kind of just random squiggly lines that kind of works for them and looks good. I kind of need a reason to put them somewhere. And sometimes the just general kind of anatomical guidelines that you would use are informative enough on their own. Then we're left, it looks like. knock off a tiny bit early on the stream tonight.
Yeah.
You moved all of my casting slip for the year down to the studio yesterday, and my hands are quite sore. Got a little bit. Got a little time. Well, I guess it's only 5 or 10 minutes in it.
At 9:30.
I mean, I suppose we could. Do you want to do 9:30? Does 9:30 sound right?
6 minutes.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, we could stop whenever.
Well, we could stop whenever.
Not like we need to clock out.
This is true. I don't like to quit sculpting, but tendency to be rough on my parts. I will say, if there's anyone out there who's sculpting, experiencing diminishing mobility in your wrists, cortisone injection may not be the worst idea. I worked with my hand, my right hand and wrist, primarily on the thumb side. I wasn't able to sort of move my wrist on the right side sort of away from the thumb at all for, it was probably getting close to 6 months last year. I got a cortisone injection in the spring, and it fixed the mobility in about 8 or 10 hours. I started to see some ability to move it, and it's still working.
No more mommy.
No more, yes. Mommy thumb. It is no fun, but it is worth taking at least a little bit of care for your bits and pieces, I suppose. That is my free advice to give, and I don't want to hear it if my bits start falling apart again and I ignore it for forever. We can know things are not ideal and still carry on doing them. There's nothing inconsistent about that position. Ooh, I like that. Mirror up that shape. A good example of what I was talking about earlier with either reinforcing or distracting from different shapes. Really liking this area here, so I decided to echo it here, and it just visually reinforces that idea. It's a good way of kind of pointing at the things you like, pointing away from the things you don't like as well in sculptures. As long as you kind of follow the anatomy at least a little, wrinkles can go any old where you want them. Put this happy little wrinkle right here. It'll be our secret. That's getting kind of fun. What do you think, Pi?
It is getting kind of fun.
Give her a slow spin.
Yeah. I think we could do a little of this. Do a little more depth in here. Yeah, like that. Like that too. Yes. Okay. So Yes.
it is 9:30.
Yes.
Call this monster done for the day. Still got a fair bit more sculpting to go, but we're moving. Some sculpts come fast, some take longer. It's just how it is.
All right, so we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll call it for the night.
Later, folks.
Later.